This segment's being sponsored by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency. Join us in preserving and protecting Tennessee's wildlife.
This morning on my way to the office, I had a buck cross the road in front of me. Now I know that right now's the time where they're growing their antlers and putting on the bone, but with this buck, you could tell he was going to be massive. And as I watched him run off, I noticed hanging on the tree close to me was a no trespassing sign. And it said that that land had already been occupied by a hunting party. So all I could do was just watch this buck and know that I could never have access to him. But you know, I'm so thankful that heaven is not like that. I'm thankful that we have access to heaven. In John chapter 6, verse 37, Jesus said this, "I will by no means cast out anyone who comes to me." What that means is we have access to him, and no matter what our past is or what our story is, Jesus accepts us all. So my challenge for you this week is this. When you see a no trespassing sign, abide by the law, but also know this, heaven is for everyone, and God has made a way for all of us to have access to him through his son, Jesus Christ. And I hope that you have made your way. Hey, thanks for watching this week. We pray that you're blessed, and always remember, keep shooting straight.
All right, guys, this segment's being sponsored by our friends at Taylor's Archery. Y'all can find them at 100 East Lauderdale Street, Tullahoma, Tennessee, or give owner Tracy Taylor a call at 931-563-7706 and get down there this summer and let him get your archery needs taken care of. You'll be ready to go come time for the August velvet hunt. All right, if y'all want to call, you can go ahead and start those now, 615-737-7767. And while we're waiting on some of those calls to get started, guys, again, we're talking some baits tonight. Rusty, you brought a few with you. If you don't mind, just grab one of these baits and let's talk a little bit about, you know, one of those and the presentations on them.
Well, you know, I've been fishing for smallmouth probably 47, 48 years now, and one of the best baits that I catch them on is old school is a football jig. Yep. And it's just especially in the rivers, you know, it's a great bait because you can bump it along or you can, you know, stroke it off the bottom. And like this one here is one I throw it in the Cumberland River. I throw it on Nickajack a lot, and in fact I've got one really nice 7-pound smallmouth sitting in Bass Pro's aquarium off one of these. Yeah. And but it's just half to a 3/4 ounce. It's a color 46, which is green and brown. Nothing really special about it. It's just something that they like and they eat. It resembles what they eat, the crawfish, and you know, that, or like what you all were doing. You all were throwing the swim bait, you know, and just a straight swim bait, especially like on Wilson or Wheeler. You'll catch them smallmouth, and you'll catch them on anything from a 4 to a 3 inch. You know, it just depends on, you know, what they're doing or the size of bait they're eating. And like, I'll throw anywhere from a 1/8 ounce head to a 3/8 to later in the year I'll throw a half. Right. And like on some of these lakes, like Tim's Ford, you'll catch them out on the end of points on this swim bait, or, you know, and the good thing about a swim bait is you're going to catch a mixed bag. You may not catch all smallmouth, but on most of these lakes, you catch
whatever's eating. I mean, it's matching the hatch is what that's doing. So it is.
You know, I was asking you. Go ahead.
No, well, that's all right. I was just going to grab a couple of calls here. We know who this first guy is. Let's go ahead and get Captain Jake Davis. How you doing, buddy?
Buddy, we're surviving. You got a crew on there tonight.
I do. You know, I run with rough crowds sometimes, but they know how to catch fish, though, Jake.
Well, you know, I ain't worried about the one in the camo. Now, Rusty, he worries me. He can put a hurting on a guy fishing in a tournament.
He can.
That one over there in the you know, in the green camo.
Yeah.
You know, he's a little shady character.
What are you talking about? Who's in there like that?
Well, Jake, tell me what you got going on this weekend, man.
Hey, you know, I think, and actually I believe Rusty is supposed to come fish this. It's over the Benton County Bass Revival. We got Richard coming over to do a lot of filming with us.
Yep.
It's all about restocking Kentucky Lake there in Benton County. The prizes have all been guaranteed. There's $22,000 cash, or actually checks, going to be paid out Saturday afternoon. There's a $20,000 scholarship for the highest finishing 21 high school graduate from Bethel.
That's great.
First
That's
place is
fantastic.
$5,000, and I tell you, it's just stacking up to be a great tournament. Big bass is $1,000. This weekend, big smallmouth, and I know y'all been talking about smallmouth
That's
all
right.
evening so far, but big smallmouth has got a $500 bounty on it as well. You know, and that's the tournament itself going on. You know, people can register online, or they can register the day of the tournament. We
Okay.
canceled all the, you know, late fees and everything because we're at 97 boats already.
Wow.
So, and you know, we've got some great sponsors out there that have sent a lot of things. We got some, you know, besides the cash and checks going to be paid out, we've got rods from Duckett and from Lou's and reels from Lou's and lures from Strike King. I know Rusty will appreciate that. He's always been a big Strike King guy.
Yeah.
They stepped up quite a bit, and you know, we're going to have some great raffles going on there. And you know, while the guys are going to be out fishing, Brandon, you know, we're going to have a kids fishing rodeo. TWRA and Southern Sportfish are supplying the catfish. We've got an area netted off over there already, American Sportfish. They've got the cove netted off over there already. We're going to dump some catfish in there tomorrow morning. And Saturday, while the competitors are on the water, we're going to have all the kids in the community down there having their own little tournament because we've got prizes for them for that as well.
That's great. That's great. Well, we're looking forward to covering that with you guys. I know Richard's ready to head down there.
Yep.
And also, I'm going to see you here in just a couple of weeks at Chickamauga, so I'm looking forward to that, too.
Yeah, well, that's only that's 1 week away from
That is.
tonight.
I might have just reminded you of that, but yeah, you ain't got but another week for that one, man. So we'll be seeing you
know,
then.
We've been working hard on it. We've got I think there's 165 high school boats already registered for that, for the state championship, and we're going to crown a Commissioner's Cup school out of that tournament, so which is going to be really nice.
That's great. Well, Jake, thank you for calling tonight.
Hey guys, appreciate it. Good to see Rusty, Dayton. That's a good-looking hat you got on. Something makes you look good.
That's right. Come on now.
All right,
Have
guys.
a good night, Jake.
Later.
Bye. Larry, how are you doing tonight?
All right, you, Brandon?
Doing great. We appreciate you calling.
Yes, I was thinking about going out to Old Hickory and floating some live baits over catfish beds this weekend. I was going to see what y'all thought about it, and I'll hang up and listen.
Absolutely. It's funny you should ask because we were just talking about that earlier. It is the time to be doing that right now. And you mentioned something about carrying them over top of those beds. We'll go ahead and say that you're going to have a better chance, in my opinion, at least I have, if you'll use one. I use one of those big round, like cylindrical floats, and go ahead and suspend that bait over top of those beds like he was just talking about. And you'll catch a lot more of those fish because the way that current is, the catfish are going to be near the current right now, somewhere just off of it usually. And you'll hang that bait up all day long down in those rocks. They're down in the rock pile, but they're just over top of them. And so just float that down through there. It's a real good time to be floating live bait, whether you want to use night crawlers, cut, skipjack. We talked about that earlier, shrimp, chicken. There's a lot of different things you can catch them on right now.
So are you setting your bait 4 to 5
about
feet?
4 feet. Yeah, about a 4-foot lead there. Just depending on if I run it through there and I catch those rocks and that float stops, I'll bring it back. I'll drop it a little bit and do it again. I want it to be right over top of those rocks when it goes down through there.
And catfish spawn this time of year, the end of May, 1st of June. So really anywhere on Old Hickory Lake, they've been catching them. Priest, all your bodies of water, they're coming up to spawn.
Yeah.
Rock piles mostly, rocky areas. They don't really want to just spawn in straight mud. It'll be more gravel.
Yeah, rock is where we've been finding them,
and
so far.
that's where they look, because they can still get a little bit of food and stuff out from there while they're bedding. And, You can sit still and fish and catch them also.
You can. Like I say, what we look for is where there's some current, meets up around those rock piles, something like that, and you'll usually find them. And this is the time. It can be a lot of fun. I had a buddy, had a great day today, so just let me know about that earlier, and that's what got us to talking about it. So good luck to you on that, Larry. Well, let's talk a couple more baits here. We got just a couple more minutes in this segment. Well, okay, I'm sorry. We're going to do tip of the week, then we're going to come back to some baits. All right, guys, let's go over and do this week's tip of the week. This week's tip of the week's been sponsored by Cryolite Real Estate Services, our buddy Wes Stone. You can find him at 1432 West Main Street in Lebanon, Tennessee, or give Wes a call, 615-444-8200. Let him take care of all your real estate needs. All right, we're going to go over to this week's tip of the week with our buddy Dayton Blair.
You know how monofilament keeps the memory if you got it on the reel too long? If you got a long idle, all you got to do is feed it out halfway to 3/4. Let it drag behind the boat. Get it wet. Get rid of some of that memory. I like doing at least 75 yards if I got it. See all the memory still in it? Get it right there and just lay it in the water. Let it unwind. It'll take it a good little distance to unwind, stretch out. But when I get it in, it'll be straight as an arrow and look like brand new. There's nothing on it. It's just sitting back here trying to unravel as we're idling out here to the no wake zone. We might have enough. Let's just see what happens. You got a little bit left, but the biggest majority of it's gone.
All right, guys, we're getting ready to take another quick break, and we'll be right back here in just a second with some more Southern Woods and Waters.